Uncensored Minds family. This is a strictly for the members. So this is exclusive content for the members. Me and Aisha is going to do a Surreal Life season 7 recap. So I want to start this off by, giving a background of the show, and then I'll ask you your opinion on something that somebody asked me, some craziness. It's a what's this moment, but I'll give a brief introduction on what it is. So this is Surreal Life season 7. It's been on a 10-year hiatus, so they finally brought it back after COVID, after all of these things. After years, it's coming back for season 7. So it's 8 celebrities. They have to go and live in this house for like 2 weeks, and it's like a breakdown of whatever's going on in their life, like friendship bonding, all of these kinds of things. So it's basically they throw these 8 people, random people, they throw them together in a house and just let them play, basically. So my question is to you, Ish, because this was what the female asked me. I was watching it one day and she was asking me, bothering me, and asking me and saying, I want to ask, what will be your answer to this question? So the question was, what do you think the purpose of this show is?
So I personally feel like the purpose of it was to create some sort of uncomfortability. That's not really a word, but I'm gonna make it a word tonight. Like I felt like it was to throw these 8 people from different backgrounds, from different, upbringings, nationalities, beliefs, religion, whatever backgrounds, bring them together, put them in somewhat uncomfortable situations, a different dynamic than what they're used to, and then kind of stir up um, and generate discussions and things to tackle and
Right.
issues and traumas, etc., fears. I think it was meant to kind of, create that sort of scenario to help people overcome certain things.
Right.
Yeah.
So I basically was trying to tell her, um it's kind of both. It's kind of comfortable and uncomfortable.
Hmm.
So the comfort is with celebrities, they find like they don't have really people to talk to. They can't like talk to regular people because regular people don't understand what the fuck they going through. They don't have, all these eyes on them and all that kind of nature. So
Hmm.
they can't have like regular conversations with regular people because they feel like there's no way they can understand, the amount of pressure or eyes that's on them. So they put them together with other celebrities to make it easier for them to open up, because that this person could be going through a lot of the same things that I go to because they're a celebrity as well.
Right.
And it's also the activity and the challenges and things of that nature is where it gets uncomfortable. So those are mindfuck games designed to break them down and open them up and get them to share, like conquer your fears, things of that nature. So
Right.
that was my answer for her. Like, it's really like a mind game.
Hmm. Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, I would
Right.
definitely agree with that. Because they definitely was trying to, get things stirred up in your own self,
Right.
mind, thinking, actions, all of that stuff. Yeah. So I agree.
All right, so we gotta go through this cast real quick. I got
Okay.
my notes today, people, so we're gonna go through this cast real quick and let everybody know who's on the show. So
Hmm.
we have Kim Coles, who's an actress. You might know her from Living Single and other things of that nature. We got Tamar Braxton, who's a singer. She's Tony Braxton's little sister, and she also has played on, other reality shows as well. Uh, we got Manny, who's the unknown but known YouTube star slash makeup artist. You know, he's also, On the other side of the fence, we're going to say, every TV show has to have one of these at this point in the game. I guess that's what it is.
Mhm.
So then we have Stormy Daniels, who was a porn star who's known for smashing Donald Trump. So if y'all don't know, she was a porn star that smashed Donald Trump. Then we have Frankie Muniz, who was a kid star. He starred in the show Malcolm in the Middle. I never watched that show, but I've come across a couple girls who said they love that show. So I
Very
guess
good.
right. I guess it was a very big show. I guess it's the younger generation, like under mine. Like it was a big show. So then we got CJ Perry, who was a WWE wrestler, a female wrestler, who's now trying to transition into acting. She's also like a TikTok star or whatever you want to call that. Then we got Isha's boy, Dennis Rodman, who's an ex NBA champion. Dennis Rodman is a basketball player, for those who don't know. And last but not least, we have Mr. Entanglement himself, August Alsina, who's an R&B singer, but now may be more famously known for having an entanglement with Jada Pinkett. Is they're in this beautiful house in Mexico.
Mhm.
What did you think about the house?
So the house was gorgeous. Like it was gorgeous. I like the way um that they idolized each cast member with their own life-size photo.
Right,
I thought that brought a nice element and appearance to the house, like just fun and personal, kind of made them feel at home. Just kind of fun to spice it up. That house was gorgeous. Like they did, I don't think they showed it enough. Like
yeah,
they
they didn't.
weren't in enough areas of the house or the pool or nothing like that. But it was gorgeous.
Yeah, they didn't show the house enough, but it was gorgeous. It kind
Hmm.
of make you want to think about a Mexico trip, even though I'm against all that kind of thing. But it kind of makes you like that house is kind of nice. I wouldn't mind staying there for like a week or two.
Yeah, that's it. You can't be against it. You just gotta go with somebody that's gonna be on the same tip. That's
That-
it. That's
that-
it. But yeah,
that-
it was gorgeous. Like, and the scenery, like just the backdrop, like when they did go outside a few times, and you could just see the beautiful scenery and stuff. Yeah, that was really dope. Nice
right.
place to live for 2 weeks.
I mean, even when they were going to all the activities and stuff, everything looked nice. Like
Hmm.
everywhere, everything looked nice. So maybe this is just the strictly the tourist portion of Mexico that they were in.
Oh yeah, for sure.
'Cause
Yeah,
everything
or the
looked
historical places, like that soccer field and stuff. I think a lot of those stadiums and things like that are very historical and rich in culture and
right.
stuff. So they probably went to all those beautiful pointed places.
Right. All
Hmm.
right. So the next question is: as soon as they got in the house, everybody started choosing roommates or linking up or whatever.
Hmm.
It was two to a room, I guess. So
Hmm.
if you had to choose somebody, who's you're going to be a roommate?
I think I feel like Tamar would have been my roommate.
Okay.
Just because she just has that larger than life personality. Like, she gonna be cool. She definitely, you could tell she takes care of herself and her hygiene is together. So you're sharing spaces with somebody, you want to feel comfortable in that sense. Like, oh, she's not a grubber. You know what I mean? Like, she's clean and neat and that kind of stuff. But I feel like we would have got a lot of laughs and got along pretty good. So I would say Tamar. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not mad at Tamar.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at. I would take any of the girls, but I mean,
Even
I would take
Stormy,
one. I'm
even
saying.
Stormy, even
Yeah,
Stormy,
even
even
Stormy. I would
Stormy.
take any of the girls.
Okay.
And as far as the guys, I guess it would have to be. I can't do Dennis. We'll get into what Dennis was doing, but I can't do Dennis for that one specific reason. But I guess August or Frankie, if I had to choose one of the guys, it would
If
be
you had to
August.
choose one of the guys, okay, okay. Yeah, August would have kept y'all centered
Right,
if
right,
he was your roommate.
right. I'm not mad at that at all. All
Yeah.
right. So before we get into the castmates, we're gonna break down each castmates. But before we get into that, there were some kind of things that stuck out. So on day one, we saw Dennis go into his room. and then Dennis ended up getting naked and walking around and things of that nature. So from the gate, Dennis breaks out, going all full natural and walking around naked. So would that have been a problem for you?
I mean, I don't know if it would have been a problem, and initially it probably would have been more like a shock.
Right.
Like, come on, Dennis. Like, do we gotta see your junk? You know what I mean? Like, but I mean, obviously, it wouldn't have been like something that I haven't seen before, and it might have been uncomfortable in the beginning, like a shock. But I don't know if it would have bothered me, but so much. I just would have like, here he go again,
Yeah,
ass out.
I definitely don't want to see Dennis walking around swinging all day while I'm trying to eat my cereal or some shit. Like, bro, you gotta chill. You can do all of that in your room. Like, I'm
Yeah,
cool
how
with that.
about it?
You ain't gotta walk around the whole crib naked though, dog.
Yeah.
You doing a
And they
lot.
say he was like popping up in rooms that wasn't even
Right,
his. So that
right,
makes it even worse.
right. He definitely started popping up. So as it started off, then we saw Kim Coles, who broke down her sleeping routine, how she has to do like cleansing and exfoliating, all of these things. She said she was going through menopause, that she's going through menopause. So she said, you might catch me in my PJs. I might be naked. It depends on how the menopause is treating me that day. So
Right.
do you have a sleep routine? Like, is it bonnet or scarf time? Do you have a sleep routine every
Mhm.
night?
Yeah, I do pretty much. Um, it's the usual like showering, moisturizing, getting in my pajamas. Yes, if my hair is not in a ponytail, then I'm wrapping up my hair, putting on my scarf and my bonnet. Yes. And it's not mine is not really extensive. You know what I mean? Like I'll do cleaning up my face, brushing my teeth, and moisturizing, and then that's it. I'm in my pajamas in the bed, and that's pretty much mine.
All right, so you're going PJs and you're not going, Dennis Rodman.
Um, now listen. Granted, there are times where they have to come off. You know what I mean? Because I'm either too high or it's too much clothes or whatever the case may be. But right after I shower until I chill and get ready to go to sleep, I'm
All
yeah.
right, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
You go, Dennis.
Yeah, I definitely do go dinner sometimes. I can't. I definitely do go dinner sometimes. Sometimes it's called for, like it's just
Yeah.
necessary. Sometimes you
Yep.
just don't want to be what is that, retained or refrained, so you
Mhm.
just want to be free sometimes. So
Right.
there is some times though where I'm definitely going dentist. I'm not mad at that. I don't know if
Yeah.
I'm doing that in the house with all the other seven people,
Exactly.
but on my natural,
Right.
base,
Right.
I'm going.
And if other people are in the house, I'm sure you're confined to your room. Maybe if you
Right,
just need to be, free or whatever, then it's just roaming the halls. Like you're
right.
not walking out in the hallway.
Yeah, Dennis was wilding. All
Then-
right, so before we get into the cast, I want to ask you. We saw Dennis, being a little standoffish at first. So once you first get in the crib, are you friendly with everybody, or are you like what scoping out everything first? How are you playing this when you first get in the crib?
So I'm kind of both. Like I'm friendly. Like as soon as I walk in, I'm very like, bubbly. Hey, how's everybody doing? Hello. I make sure I acknowledge everybody and all of that. And then I'm off in the cut. And then at that time I'm observing like what's going on, who's saying what, who's doing what, how are things positioned and set up, and I'm kind of getting the vibe. So I think I do both.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be a little standoffish at first until I get to see who's who and what's what, and
Hmm.
then it'll start breaking down, as
Right.
time goes on.
Yeah.
Because I definitely don't fuck with you if I don't know you. Like I'm not Joe friendly, like just to walk up
Yeah.
to you and have conversation when I don't know you. I'm not into that.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty difficult.
Right,
You know what I mean? Is definitely difficult. So you do got to catch the vibe first.
right.
Hmm.
All right, now which castmate do you want to start with first?
Let's get the individuals who were there. They were sweet and nice and have a history, but didn't have so much going on as some of the others. So he wanted to just knock some of them out quick.
uh,
Um,
which one of them you want to start with?
let's start with CJ.
All right, we want to start with CJ. All right, CJ is a female wrestler who she was looking pretty good. I'm not mad at CJ.
Yeah, she was definitely some eye candy for the
All
guys. You
right,
know,
all right.
she's pretty, body
I'm
nice.
not mad at CJ. So it said that she was just recently laid off slash fired slash let go or however the term was from pro wrestling. So she's trying to find her second career, I guess. She's also married to a wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
So with CJ, what do you think her thing was in the
Mm-hmm.
house?
So CJ to me just seemed like she was just full of life. You know, she had a great spirit. You know, I like the way that she spoke up for Tamar. You know, we'll talk about that later on, but you know, she was very vocal in her feelings and opinions. She was just kind of like, hey, let's drink, let's have a good time. Like,
Right.
you know, let's do what we do and enjoy each other. So I felt like she was very neutral and even killed throughout the house for the most part.
All right. So if you was CJ, do you think this would be a hard transition from you, being as though this what you've been doing for the last couple of years? You're also married to somebody that's still in that field. Do you think that's going to be, would it be a hard transition for you finding your second career?
Um, I'm gonna say no, honestly, because she if she can just hone in on specifically what it is and what she wants to hop into. I mean, like the social media influencing that she's already into and very popular at, etc., is going to just open up so many more doors for her, probably even doors that she didn't even think to tap on.
Right.
So I think she will be cool. She's probably made some good connections, so the transition into something new shouldn't be, you know what I mean, it shouldn't be too hard for her.
So I think her spirit is what's gonna separate her in that problem. She seemed like she was as you said full of life and a happy go lucky person. So I don't think it's going to be that hard for her. Plus, she also has what they call white privilege. So
Hmm.
so she'll be all right, I guess.
Hmm.
she'll be all right, I guess.
Yep.
But
If she get in the little tight corner, she got that little body. She
right,
can put it to work, do
right,
something.
right. Get her a little OnlyFans or something.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
when she came out in the bikini, and Tamar and them was like, well, damn, is that what
Like
we do?
a red bikini. Okay.
Right. I wasn't mad at it at all. But
No, no.
yeah,
She was
CJ was pretty cool. She
yeah.
didn't have any problems with anybody at the house.
Mm-mm.
Everybody was upset with Dennis what he did at that one time, but she let that go. Everybody let that go, and they moved on. And it
Mm-mm.
was all good energy with CJ.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Who you want to go next? We going little
Um,
man.
huh?
You want to go little man next?
Little man, why not? Little
Shout out
man.
to the little man. If anybody doesn't
I
know who
right.
we're talking about, that's Frankie Muniz, the star of Malcolm in the Middle. I don't know if this boy is like 4 feet or like maybe
Yeah,
even barely
sure.
5 feet, but he
Yeah.
was like a little dude. So
Yes.
he's a child star. So I want to ask you, do you think child stars are like doomed because they missed their childhood, or do you think it's something that they can get past, or is it always going to be there that you missed your childhood because you were a child star?
Yeah, I feel like in a sense, yes, I feel like I agree with that statement. I feel like they lost a lot of their childhood, so not necessarily doomed, but I feel like just restricted in a sense, because like even touching on Frankie when he discussed like a lot of things, he said after Malcolm in the Middle, he was kind of you know taken aback, like he took a step back away from acting. And that could have been for many reasons because he didn't have much time to be a child or much time to gain direction or to live a normal life with friends and college and just things like that. So then he's kind of stuck in a sense, like, all right, what do I do now? And like he said, he had his hands in so many different things that nothing really like took
Right.
off extremely well for him. So he kind of is just living in his own shadow from what was that, the 90s?
Yeah, the '90s, probably mid early 2000s, one of those. I'm gonna say early 2000s. I'm gonna say early
So,
2000s.
right.
But also, as in being a child star, they be responsible for taking care of their whole family. So
Hmm.
at some point, they kind of get tired of that, and the weight becomes too heavy, and they just want to. It seemed like he's just at the point where he wants to like live a regular life.
Right. Right. And
But,
with his wife and his
right,
child, you know what I mean? And now he's trying to, well, he might have already been in it, but NASCAR, and trying to be, just trying to find his elevation. And it's like, he's been grappling that for probably so many years. He
right.
just wants to have something that he's amazing at again outside of Malcolm in the Middle.
All right, the last thing on the little man Frankie, who he had good energy in the house as well. But
Mm.
I want to ask you this question because this stuck out to me. This is something that he said. You know, so he shops in the kids section of stores. He said he has to get most of his clothes, all his clothes from the kids section. I guess he said he wears like a 16 or something. I don't even remember that size at this point. So
Munchkin.
would that be a deal breaker for you of messing with a guy who shops in the kids section, or would you take that as I don't have to spend as much money? I get a little, but there's a little discount over here.
Well, it's not necessarily a deal breaker for me. Especially dating a shorter guy or just that kind of thing. It wouldn't be a deal breaker, but that is kind of funny though. It would be a fucking ongoing joke, that's for sure.
Right. So are you breaking that out in the argument as well? Like you little little kids Foot Locker shopping ass? Are you breaking that out?
No, I'm not a dirty. No, I'm not a dirty below the belt fighter. When I argue, like I'm gonna keep it clean. I ain't even gonna go there. Even if you go there with me, I'm not. I ain't gonna throw it in your face. But I'll probably be thinking it. That's for sure. I'm gonna
Right.
be thinking that shit.
Right. But Frankie was cool. He was cool. He ain't really had no problems in the crib. He got along with everybody, and he.
Mm-mm.
All right. Who you
Yeah.
want to tackle next?
So let's see. We did Frankie. We did CJ. Let's do
Right.
Stormy.
Let's do Stormy. All right, everybody. Stormy is a porn star slash uh what did she call herself? A ghost hunter?
Oh, she is a paranormal investigator.
A paranormal investigator slash ghost hunter slash she's from New Orleans, so she's into the little voodoo stuff. So when she first entered the house, ladies and gentlemen, she has this little doll with her, which is reminiscence of a Chucky doll, but it's a female doll named Suzanne that possesses powers, talks to her, talks to other people. It's her spirit friend, I guess. So, what was your thoughts on Stormy and her smashing Donald Trump?
Yeah. So, Stormy, I mean, yeah, I remember her from the whole like Trump scandal or whatever. And
I had completely forgot all about
huh?
that. I had completely forgot all about that.
Right, right. It didn't like resurface until, she popped up on this show in my mind anyway.
Right.
Um and I remember her from the whole thing. It wasn't nothing. I mean, I really wasn't interested in it at that time. So seeing her now is just like, oh, okay. But um just her in general, just like the whole dark vibe when she first came in and that whole thing. I'm just like,
Yeah, it was given Elvira or something.
yeah, yeah. And it was like I live in this haunted, what is it, a church or something?
Right.
Or
Yeah, haunted church.
yeah, a haunted church. And I just was like, what are these vibes? Like they just not gonna sit well with many people. That was my first impression of her. Just that whole dark side and the whole porn star stuff. I was like, how does this even mix?
Right.
Like,
Right.
are
One
you a
side porn
satanic?
star, one side ghost hunter.
Right, right, exactly. I'm like, how is this mixing? But as time went on, you saw a different, softer side to her.
Right.
which was nice to see.
I just want to say that she validated the whole like CIA slash like banishment thing of like when you mess with somebody and that kind of power that they can really like destroy your whole life. So she
Hmm.
was saying how she think she had to fight for custody of her daughter. She was homeless. Like the all the things with Trump, like they put a hold on her life, and like she almost she basically did lose everything,
Hmm.
and now she's like rebranding herself and trying to get her life back together and things of that nature. So it showed that that is a real thing,
Right.
that they can push a button on you and basically like destroy and erase your life.
Yeah. And it's crazy that one, she even had to go through that just because of, this, you know, whatever you want to call
Affair.
it. You know what I mean? And for her to be stripped away of just so many things because of it just truly goes to show you how you said people in power, political figures are, well, at the time was he wasn't a political figure then, but
No, he wasn't a political, but I think this was like right before he was about to run. She said,
right, right. So, but I mean, he probably was still dibbling and dabbling
right,
in politics, and then this is all about cover-ups and get rid of that and strip her, because if you strip her, then she'll shut up. You know what I
right.
mean? So it's a sin, but I'm glad to see that she is doing well in her own right. As wild as it might be for some, you know what I mean? It's good to see that she's overcome that.
So, do you remember how she described her sexual encounter with Trump?
I forget exactly what she said, but it
All
was
right,
like
I'm
was
gonna
like
tell you. I'm gonna tell
sixty.
you what she said. So
Mhm.
she said she was in the room with Trump. She went to the bathroom, and when she came out, he was naked, standing in between her and the door. So she couldn't really like leave out the door. So she just chose to say, fuck it, like I'm gonna just fuck him then. But she said this was the worst 90 seconds of her life. She said it was a 90-second experience where she was just praying, that it hurry up and be over. So has there ever been a time where, in your mind you're like, if you was in her shoes, are you like, I wish this nigga hurry up and come? Or is your mind frame like, let me think of how I can make this shit better? Where is your mind going in this place?
Well, I guess it all depends, and I don't know where my mind would necessarily go if it wasn't something that I wanted to do. You know what I mean? If I'm just having to do something because it's like, okay, I'm in this awkward situation and I need to do it, I'm finding a way to get out of that situation.
Right.
But albeit she didn't have or wasn't afforded that opportunity to do so, so she went ahead. But if it's a situation where I'm in it, I feel like I am just trying to make the best of it. Like
Okay.
mentally, my mind is going to be somewhere else on something else, just trying to make the best of it to get through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if it's a trash situation, I can kind of force myself like rush to rush to the end zone. I guess I can push the button to run to the end zone to get up out
Right.
of it.
Like, let me just hurry up and get this shit over
Yeah,
with.
but I wouldn't want to. That's not something that you want to do. That's not something that you want to do.
Right, right.
So kind of my advice would be to try to stay out of those situations. And even like as she said, she didn't have to go through having sex with him if she didn't want to.
Right.
Like if you don't want to have sex with him, don't have sex with him. That's my advice.
Right, exactly. Especially if you're not feeling it or if the
Yeah,
vibe is off or if he's just, if it's not there, then why even put yourself in that situation? It's not going to be enjoyable anyway. It's going to be just a waste.
right.
And
All
then look
right.
at all of the havoc she got from it. And it
Right.
wasn't even worth
Yeah,
it.
it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it.
That's worth
And I
it.
guess at that time she wasn't thinking about,
Mhm.
he's going to be president in the future and things of that nature. So
Yeah.
even if
Well,
it's still regular Joe, like nah.
right, right. And she was saying that he was supposed to put her on The Apprentice
Right.
and some other things. So maybe she saw a glimmer of opportunity for her as well. And if she had said no, then that could have off those opportunities for her. So, I guess she was just in that awkward position.
But ladies, do yourself a favor and just do the work. Don't try to sleep your way to the top of the apprentice.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah, no, it could
it's,
end bad for you.
it's not a good idea to sleep your way
Not a
to
good
the top of
idea.
the apprentice, man. All right, next I want to go to Manny
Hmm.
to Manny the makeup artist, man. So
Yes. Yes.
with Manny the makeup artist, what was your thoughts on his whole story and how he played out in the house?
Yeah, so I mean, I can see why they opt to have say gay individuals, just play a part in some of these reality shows, etc. One, they're full of life,
Right,
they're overabundant and comedy and uh funny things and to talk about and just their whole presence.
right.
So Manny did just that. Like he brought that type of energy and life to the house. Seemed like he was cool with everybody. He was expressive about how he came out the closet or how he was a closeted Mormon.
Right.
And
He said that they forced him to go to therapy for 6 months to try to get the gay up out of
yeah, yeah, that I forget exactly the type of therapy is called, but they kind of put you through these exercises and some are torturous
him. Right.
to try to reverse the gay
Right.
feelings and thoughts, etc. So I felt like he kind of was able to fit in pretty nicely because he was comfortable within himself enough to address those things with them. He was being transparent, and so I think it was cool.
Like my whole thing, like the thing about it was it wasn't like over the top. Like it wasn't like Uncle Clifford. Like, it
Right,
wasn't over the top. Like he
right.
wasn't like wearing high heel shoes or like sitting on the bed painting his nails. He was just like a regular chill dude that just happened to be gay.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
it wasn't over the top. So
Right.
it wasn't like bothersome.
Yeah. And it didn't like force himself on you, as far as just the things that he was saying or
Right.
doing. He was pretty calm, had his little funny moments and stuff, which was cool.
Right. He was chill. So one of
Hmm.
the funny things with Manny is that he's part of the new school, so the new school doesn't really know who the old school is. So he
Right.
kind of asked Dennis Rodman, like, "Who are you?"
Hmm. Say what? Who is that? Like,
Right.
yeah, that was funny. That was funny.
So
And Dennis took it all in stride. Even if
right,
he caught on at that point in time, he might not have even, maybe he thought it was a joke. I don't know, but he took it all in stride. That was funny though. And then,
right,
Manny expressed too how he was just in the house with all of these famous people, and here it was, little old him. You know
right,
what I mean? Living amongst these big stars. So.
right. So that's a bridge between social media stars and real life stars. So
Hmm.
the social media stars, they don't even know of the world that we basically come from, where these people are real life stars. They're not social media famous.
Right.
They're
Right.
real life famous. Like
Yeah.
they actually had to do something and they had to put in, some serious work to be
Hmm.
who they are. They didn't just get famous on the internet.
Right.
There's a balance there.
Yeah, absolutely. I
So
would agree.
do you find a fault in some of the younger generation that they don't do their homework per se and knowing the older generation?
I feel like absolutely I do find them at fault because I feel like, especially, I mean, I know we are sometimes contained to just our everyday to day, and sometimes only certain things are within our reach, or certain things are within our interests, right? So you might not venture off too much to learn about stars that are not in your direct line of interest, right? So I get it, but I just feel like they could be a little more worldly
Right.
and just, learning different things, reading different things. And
Right.
if you know of LeBron, then know of the history of
Right.
basketball sometimes. Just knowing the basic simple history of
The
things.
funny shit that you saying right there. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't know who LeBron was.
And but and you're right. He might not know who LeBron is, and he might. You're right, and that's it. Living in the confines of the bubble that
Right,
you're just your line of interest.
right,
You know what I mean? Just your line of interest, and I feel like they're doing themselves a disservice
right,
by just staying in that lane.
right. I'm gonna say definitely do your homework, people. Learn
Mhm.
the history, do your homework, know who
Mhm.
some people are, especially if you plan on being in that field or being in the entertainment field in general. You
Mhm.
kind of want to know who's who, even if they're not directly in your personal field.
Absolutely.
I will say that. All right, next do your D Rod. Dennis Rodman, ladies and gentlemen, what's happening here?
Oh, Dennis is Dennising.
Dennis is
That's
Dennis.
Dennis is Dennising. I
Dennis
loved
Rodman,
it.
a
I loved
former
it.
NBA star. What was your thoughts on Dennis entering the house, his whole shebang, his storyline? What was your spill on Dennis?
Yeah. So I mean, I think immediately straight off the bat, you can see Dennis was going to be one of those individuals who was, somewhat reserved in certain areas. He was very like he would sit back aside from the group in the beginning, or a good portion of the time, you know what I mean? So he kind of could be observant, it would seem. Um, but I also felt like there was just this wall,
Right,
like just this wall. Everything was just, hey, like almost robotic in a sense. Hey, yeah, I'm Dennis. Da, 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 da. His glasses. He's looking straight forward. Never no eye contact. No engaging with the individual. So I already knew like straight from the gate. Something's up with Dennis. What? I don't know yet, but something's up with him.
right. So
But
I had also told you that I read Dennis Rodman's story when I was a young boy. Somebody had gave me his book as a gift.
mhm,
So Dennis Rodman is like he was raised by like white people on a farm. He was molested, you know, he always had like depression and suicidal thoughts. One of his teammates was smashing his wife at the time. Like there's a lot of drama base going on with Dennis. But I wanted to say that he's that way because it's hard for a man to say, I'm going through this.
mhm.
It's hard. They don't know how to express those emotions or those feelings to say such and such happened to me. They
Right.
just, it's just like a straightforward line of like, well, I still have to get up every day and do what I gotta do. It's
The
like you don't even have time to think about, those emotions or feelings. So you don't recognize, when it
mhm,
comes out of you and you like take a jab at somebody and it's your own shit going on, but you taking a jab at somebody to
mhm.
deflect it, you don't even see that
Yep.
because you're not taught that kind of stuff.
Mhm. And I felt like too, like that whole wall, that defense mechanism, and all of that stuff. Obviously he's had major traumas
Right,
that has happened to him that he clearly has not dealt with to get in an emotional, a healthy emotional space.
right,
Um, and I just feel like when it came time for him to want to be transparent, because there were times where it just seemed like he just popped out of nowhere and was like, how about trying to win the championship, and one of your teammates fucked your wife? Yeah, let's have it, let's do it. Like, you know what I mean? He took his traumas, he made a joke out of it, but then he lashed out, and then he
right,
turned it around on somebody else, as if to say, hey, here's a bit of me, right? But I'm gonna snatch it right back, and then I'm gonna inflict something upon you. I'm gonna pull out one of your, um, I'm gonna pull out something about you
pull
that's
out one
not.
of your skeletons. He's like, it's deflection. He's basically doing deflection, like to get like I like it's basically I'm hurting right now and I'm about to cry, but to get it off of me, I'm gonna say some bad shit about you,
Yeah,
so we can talk about that, and then I'm gonna
yeah. I'm
feel
gonna
better.
stab you and then watch you bleed
Right,
instead of myself. But
Right.
yeah.
So do you think that there was something in Dennis being the first person to arrive at the house and the last person to leave at the house?
So I did notice that. And the arrival was um kind of sort of just like chill and like, hey, I'm the first one here. But if you notice when he left, it just seemed a little something different about him than from when he arrived. And I think that was probably the producer's way of, you know, highlighting Dennis
Right.
and maybe even acknowledging some growth that he made.
Right. So when Tamar first came in the house, she mentions to Dennis, like, yeah, I know you used to date my sister. So we're speaking of Tony Braxton, the famous singer Tony Braxton. So Dennis like vaguely plays it off like, did I like I don't even remember that shit. Like
Right.
so is that something that you might have even remembered that, did Dennis Rodman may have dated Tony Braxton? Was that a thing? Like even when they showed the pictures, I was like, it was like a thing with Dennis Rodman was like dating everybody. It was like Madonna,
Mhm.
it's everybody.
Right.
But I
Yeah.
don't remember Tony Braxton being in that mix.
No, not really. And I think like if they did, like he said, they had a couple of interactions. She was like, "Nah, I'm not really feeling you, D. Ride you off the hook."
Right,
And Tony's a different caliber of woman in a sense, so she probably was like, "No, I'm not really with it."
right.
Whatever. So he probably didn't really remember their interaction because it was probably so very brief.
Yeah, I'm not mad at
Yeah.
Dennis got out. All right.
Yo, it's crazy.
I guess we could do Kim Coles next. We could do Kim Coles next. I'm
Okay.
gonna say two hard hitters for the last part. Kim Coles, who's famous from being on and Living Single. She's an actress. I want to ask you, do you think she's underrated as an actress?
I do.
Mm,
I do. I felt like I was very, very surprised. Like even when I was just thinking about it recently, like we kind of between In Living Color. Was she in the? She was in Living Color
yeah,
and Living Single. I feel like that. Oh, yeah. I feel like that should not have been her two most memorable roles. I mean, even
right.
though she was in a lot of other things, I just feel like she was such a great actress, such a prominent figure in like the 80s and 90s that she just should have went way further and in so many more roles. But that's Hollywood for you, I guess, in a sense. And if you just not conforming or maybe not in the right circles or whatever the
That's what
case.
I mean, like even now, and I feel like she should be getting like small little roles here and there. Even now, like she's a good
Right.
actress.
She's a good actress, right? So it just goes to show, like, well, what is it? Is it her management team? Is it her herself with her beliefs or things that she's just not going to do? Like, it makes you think and wonder, like, what is it that's preventing her from getting at least the small good roles?
So she did mention on the show that after Living Single disbanded or got canceled or ended or whatever, that she went into a deep depression and she basically spent up all her money doing retail. What do they call that? That shopping that you do. What do they call that shopping that you do? Like retail therapy, I guess.
Yeah, retail therapy or retail. Yep. Mhm. Yeah, that's it.
So
Retail
she
therapy.
said she ended up with only having like 27, 25, $27 in her bank account because she was just going crazy, spending her money because she was depressed.
Depressed. Depression is crazy. That we talk about that mental health all the time, and some people just latch on to some vice, whatever it might be, that kind of eases their depression pain. And I guess shopping was it for her, and she probably hit rock bottom in order to be able to regain herself. You know what I mean? To get back in a positive place.
So was she like an OG in the house? Like, what,
Yeah,
What was her house
president,
vibes?
the class president and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, she just had like that motherly kind of figure and demeanor, you know, with some laughs and stuff. But you kind of had like if I was in the house, I would have like a respect for her in a
Right.
motherly sense. You know what I
I
mean?
feel like they didn't dive into her story deep enough
Mm-mm,
though. Like
mm-mm.
she didn't. The spotlight wasn't on her enough.
No, it wasn't. And she was probably because she's more reserved and her story wasn't as exciting as probably some of the others that they focus more on. You know what I mean? She was just kind of calm, chill, and collected. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna do Big Baby Tamar Braxton.
Big baby.
Big Baby Tamar. I love Tamar Braxton. First
I
and foremost, I love Tamar Braxton.
I do too. So dope. She's so dope.
I do want to say, R.I.P. to Tracy Braxton because I
Mm.
was an avid watcher of Braxton Family Values. So that's one of her older sisters who died earlier. I'm gonna say this year. I think it was
Yeah,
earlier
March.
this
She died in March of this year.
year, right?
Yeah.
Rest in peace to Tracy Braxton. But on Tamar, what was your thoughts?
Tamar was way different
Right.
than from what we saw on Braxton Family Values or any other pop up she did on any other reality show or
Tamar,
whatever.
Tamar Vance, uh, whatever, Big Brother, Big Sister, whatever show she was on.
Right, exactly. And you can tell that she's grown a lot. She's gotten a little more reserved just in her brashness. Like she's not as pop, 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 pop. You know what I mean? It's still there, but it's a little more toned down. She's a little more focused just in regards to self-care,
Right.
just in regards to containing her emotions and the things that trigger her and all of that stuff. And she seems to have found a happy medium, especially after her wanting to commit suicide and just the mental things that she was going through. And this was recorded before Tracy
Right.
passed the show,
Right. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So you know
So what was your thoughts on her saying, she was only in work mode. She didn't know, I don't know what my son likes. I don't know. I basically don't even know who my son is because I'm just in this straight work mode. And I thought if I buy him everything, I was being a good mother. What are your thoughts on that whole, dynamic of her saying I was just working, I don't know who my son is?
yeah. I appreciated that moment of transparency for her because as a mother, that takes a lot to really stand up to say where you fall short. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because I think as moms, as parents, we all want to be like the everything to our children, and sometimes we just fall short. And I think her acknowledging the fact that she was too and indulged in her career or the shows or whatever else she had going on, maybe even her marriages or other relationships, etc. I
Right.
think that's a healing moment for her. You know what I mean? To be able to be clear enough to say, you know what, I was messing up, and now let me get back to my son because I fucked up. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he's lacking.
All right. I wanna tell you my thoughts on starting from Brexit family values. So Tamar was married to Vincent Herbert, who was this big time manager, entertainment manager or whatever. He was managing B2K, Lady Gaga, I believe, a lot of big artists. He was the manager. But when I first saw their relationship, I was like, this ain't gonna work. I knew I knew that there was an expiration date, on their marriage, and I say that to say that it was like Tamar is like vibrant,
Mm-hmm.
and he was just kind of chill, like. And I knew at some point that was going to be a clash that
Mm-hmm.
didn't work. The part that I didn't know is that it was going to be Vince who got some of that weight trimmed up off of him and started feeling himself. and that is what actually caused the divorce.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
what was your whole thoughts on the Tamar and Vince thing?
And Ben's situation. I feel like honestly, they say that sometimes the things that attract you to a person are the things that sometimes can be the detriment
Right,
as well. And I
right,
feel like, just like you said, she's so bubbly, full of life, and so in your face. And Vincent, you do what I want you to do what I need you to do. Da, 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 da. And he's so chill and reserved, and like that same fieriness
right,
that he was attracted to her by, that he fell in love with, or whatever, could, as he's gotten older or as he evolved as an individual, whatever, could be the same reason that it didn't work and that it became too much. And then he just, I mean, obviously it's other things, other moving parts in that marriage where it didn't work, but I'm just saying, like, just generally speaking, it seemed like they were on two different wavelengths.
I mean, plus how
So
I saw it, I was like, I know Vince is not tearing that up. Like,
no,
when Vince,
talked about was girth.
right, when Vince was big as shit, I know Vince is not tearing it up. And I know that she's in love with spending his money, but at some point, it's like, I know you want to be tore up, shorty. Like,
Incredible. And Vince wasn't tearing nothing up. One, he
right,
had health issues a good portion of the time that they were married, and that's not to say you can't have health issues and have a healthy sex life. But what I'm saying is, a lot of his health issues were heart related, and breathing and things like that. So he couldn't definitely smash it down like she needed to,
right,
which probably created her to be more hype,
right, right.
irritated, or whatever, causing
But
more problems.
she ain't getting no act right. She,
Right.
she ain't getting no act right. But
Fact.
the thing that happened, in their divorce is that he started blocking her. Like he wouldn't let her work with certain people. Like he did a lot, behind the scenes to derail her career. Which is why she had that suicidal moment because she couldn't, operate outside of him.
Hmm.
So that's what created that suicidal moment.
Right.
And that's what a lot of females need to be aware
Hmm.
of. It's not only females that get bitter, I'm gonna say. So there is men that get bitter and they do things to hold you down, I guess.
Hmm. Hmm. And see, that's the whole thing too, because we lead with our emotions. And
Right,
she put a lot of faith into her husband. She
right,
relied a lot on him, and and not that she didn't have anything to bring to the table. I'm not saying that by any means, because she definitely can hold her own,
right,
for sure, talent wise,
right,
comes from a long family of stars, etc. But just as a woman, she relied a lot on her husband, probably emotionally, financially,
right,
um, and career wise. So when that's removed from you, if you don't have your ducks in a row and you
right,
don't have your plan B, then you can kind of crumble, which she did.
right.
She was able to
So,
get back
so
up though.
what do you think about Tamar as an artist though?
Let me tell you something. I love her music, okay? I can listen to her, which I think she had two albums.
Right,
I can listen to them front to back. I love her. I love her. Do I love her as much as Tony? Probably not,
right,
but she's definitely an artist that I gave some playtime to. And I hope she makes more music and gets past this rough, you know, continues to grow from this rough patch that she just overcame, and make some more music and still do her thing.
right. Yeah, I'm definitely a fan of Tamar's music, and but I'm a bigger fan of her outside of music
Hmm.
because I seen her grow from the beginning of Braxton Family Values when she was the spoiled baby and she didn't want to show up to things and she used to fight with the sisters all the time and it was just a bunch of unnecessary bickering. It was a lot of like my husband has this money and y'all husbands suck. Like it was a lot of that. So she got
Yeah.
humbled, I guess. So in some of her triumphs and trials and
Mhm.
tribulations, she
Mhm.
got humbled a little bit to where she's
Mhm.
she's calmer now. So I think now she's in her best place. I feel like now she's at her best place. Like now, I feel like it would be a perfect time for her to make music now because she's in like an even space now. Well,
Yeah.
from what I said,
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with you there. Because sometimes if your mind is too clouded, they say, great music comes from, heartbreak, heartache, and emotion, but it can be something to the point where you hit rock bottom and you want to commit suicide. You know what I mean? You you know, you're way too clouded to be creative at that point in time. You just like clinging on for dear life. So it's good that she's come out of that and she's healing and she's growing, to be able to get back into that creative space where she's, popping out them hits again. And hopefully she'll connect with management and producers and things like that that can get her as far as Herbert did. I mean, Vincent, why I call him Herbert, I don't know, because he looked like a Herbert. T, you on mute. He looked like a Herbert. He looked like a Herbert.
shout out to Tamar.
Yeah, shout out to Tamar. Love her. Love her.
All right, last but not least, we have Mr. Entanglement. I want to start off by saying I'm an August Alsina fan before all of this
Mm-hmm.
nonsense. There's August Alsina songs still in my phone. I'm an August Alsina, the singer, fan. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm embedded in the culture. I'm a fan of music, and he's definitely has music that'll still stay with me forever. That I'll always listen to. I'm a fan of him as an artist, and when now we're getting to see, some of his personality, I guess.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Because I
what was
never
your,
saw any of that before.
right? What was your thoughts on Mr. Entanglement throughout the show and how he handled himself?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I liked him. I liked him. I really did, especially like outside of his music and videos, and maybe seeing him do an interview here or there. You didn't really know much about him. You know what I mean? He's kind of very laid back and incognito, even just from what we saw on social media or whatever. So to see him in this element to speak, he's very articulate. He's very intelligent. Um, he's very like energy based and vibrational and all that kind of good stuff, which adds a layer of what you didn't know about him. You know what I mean? Now to his repertoire, outside of singing, right, and outside of the entanglement.
Right.
But I felt like he set his ground early in the
Right.
house, like
I'm not. I'm not sleeping in the room with the Suzanne the voodoo doll.
yeah, this
I'm
ain't never
throwing this bed. I'm throwing this bed over the balcony.
this shit the fuck out. She ain't sleeping with me. Neither is that damn doll. This ain't never gonna work. He set his boundaries early, and even with Dennis, like him, do you want me to answer the fucking question or not? Like, I think he set his boundaries early, and but he did it in a way that was firm
Respectful. It was still respectful.
but respectful, right? You know what I mean? So I really liked him, and learning about him and how he conducted himself, and he was very transparent as well.
So August walks into the house, and it's all this, color and vibrations and different kind of, layers. And then at the end of this, at the end of everything, they voted him best dressed. So I want to know, what was your take on August's fashion?
It was not nothing to write home about. I mean, it just was some normal shit, layered up, plain Jane. I mean, like it wasn't nothing spectacular. Maybe to them.
I mean, I
Um,
think I think a lot of it was like flamboyant. Like looking from the outside in, you would think that there's a little bit of
I wanted to say that so bad. Like in the beginning, I felt that. I'm like, this is weird. Why am I getting this vibe?
right. There's a little bit of flamboyant, suspect vibes. But
Yeah.
we gonna let you rock. We gonna let you rock.
Because
We
this is
gonna let it play
August,
out.
right?
Right.
This
It's
is
August.
August.
We gonna let you rock. It's Mr.
Right.
Integrity. We gonna let you
Yeah,
rock.
he slept with Jada.
Right.
So
We
nah,
gonna let
he
you rock.
ain't. He just got that little. I don't know.
So
I
at
don't
the
know.
at the one of the first dinners, August is speaking, and he has that deep complex that some of the ladies easily fall for. Like,
Mhm.
he's so deep. Like, how deep is he gonna get up in my guts? That's how they be. So as far as the entanglement can go either ways. Like with women, the entanglement goes to, I want to see what that's about, or I'm totally turned off. So some women, is that intriguing to women?
That type of conversationalist, you mean?
Yeah, not
Or
only not only the conversationalist, the entanglement in general, like that specific like thing, like is that
oh,
intriguing to women?
right. So yeah. I guess it could be for some women for sure. Because there's always that intrigue. You know what I mean? That allure of You know what I mean? And I think just as humans by nature, that's what we're going to gravitate to. Um, but I think for some women, and maybe even like me, you get past that first initial layer of wonder,
Yeah.
and then you like, maybe not, maybe that's not something that I want to tackle or tap into, for whatever reason it may be. But I feel like 95% of the women
Right.
definitely gonna go for that,
Right.
to see what it be about. Yeah, for
So how,
sure.
so how about the deepness in him? Is that intriguing?
Yeah, that's definitely intriguing. I feel like too, and it could just be, you know, on the surface, you know what I mean? But I think initially, when you have someone that's intellectual, or that's able to hold a conversation, about something, and that makes it kind of makes you feel comfortable
Right.
in, being transparent. So I think it, because then it allows you to be able to go deep. And most women want that, want to be deep, whether it's just on the surface initially or not. Like, that's an
But
attraction.
but are most women capable of being deep?
Somewhere in there, yeah. If they're able, it depends. We have women that have walls up, that are emotionally guarded, that are not able to reach a level of deepness just yet due to their own traumas or healing or whatever. But I think for the most part, it's appealing. And if they continue to feel that appeal enough, that maybe, some of the layers will then be able to shed for them to go deep. But it's definitely making them wet, that's for sure. You ain't, you ain't telling me that it's not. You ain't telling me that it's not. I promise you. I
And August,
promise
August,
you.
August got the ladies wet off the conversation.
Listen,
Yeah,
listen.
August.
He said at one time he was fucking 5 or 6 chicks in a day.
Right,
All he probably had to do was stand there and say, you know, this
right.
sage, the philosophical background of this sage here. They probably was like, oh, August. Oh,
August getting the
August.
pennies off the sage. I'm not mad at you, August. I'm not mad at you, August. Oh man. All right, we gotta get into some of these challenges that happened on the show.
Okay.
Hold on. Did we do CJ? We did CJ, right?
Yeah, we did CJ.
All
Yep.
right, we
I
did
think we
CJ.
did
We did
everybody.
everybody.
Yeah.
All right, we did everybody. All right, get into some of the exercises. Before we get into the exercises, I have
Yeah, that
this
was one
question.
of my questions to you. Like, what was your favorite exercise? But go ahead. What was yours?
Um, who did you think was gonna smash in the house?
I thought CJ was definitely. I know CJ is married, but
I
I
know,
feel
but it was like it was like if CJ wasn't married, she would have smashed one of them.
yeah, yeah, because her energy, the liquor, just she's sexy, so people was, gravitating to her, etc. Even if it was her and Stormy
Oh man,
some
I heard
girl, girl.
story.
Remember, because Stormy was like, she laid on top of me in the
Right.
in the bed. Remember, and she's like, I never pick a sexy blonde out of my bed. But I feel like CJ would have been the one to sleep with somebody if she wasn't married.
So who you think CJ is smashing? Dennis or August?
I think she would smash August before Dennis.
All right, I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
I had August. I had August. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was Dennis though.
I
All right,
wouldn't be
what you
I
about to
feel
say?
like I wouldn't be surprised that it was Dennis either.
All right.
Because Dennis still seemed like a Mac, even with his wild,
Damn.
crazy stuff.
Dennis said he broke his dick because he tried to
Wait,
he tried to run and slam his dick in somebody. He tried to jump off like the top of the couch or some shit and slam his dick inside somebody. He broke his dick.
yo, here I want you to know that
That
one of
broken
my
dick thing.
questions.
Hold on, Ish. That broken dick thing is a real thing. You can break
Yes,
your dick.
yes. Listen, here is my question.
Right.
T. Dennis revealed that he broke his dick a few times. Have you ever come close to breaking your dick
Most definitely.
where either of you were so wild and it got out of control? That was my question to you. I swear it was.
Most definitely, you can break your dick from over exhaustion of sperm. Like if you drained and then you still fucking, you can break your dick and you are going to be sore for a couple of days to a week or maybe even 2 weeks because you're just doing too much. And you also could break your dick. I just had this conversation with my son actually, which is crazy because I was trying to warn him. I was like, you can break your dick from a girl being overly aggressive, like pounding on top of you and like and then you get that binge on like she sit on you and binge and shit. Like there's different ways that you can break your dick. That is possible. I just had this conversation with my son because I was warning him about that. I was like, you got to be careful. Like a lot of those big asses look enticing, but some of those big asses can hurt you. Right.
Will have you fucked up
Facts.
with an ace bandage wrapped around your dick for a
Facts.
week or two.
So yeah, that is a real thing, ladies.
Yeah.
So if you got to pick somebody in the house, Ish, who you picking?
To what?
If you was gonna smash somebody in the
If I
house.
was going to smash, it would be August.
August got all the ladies.
No, it would be August because I definitely wouldn't be banging Dennis. I'm sorry. So I mean, he would be the only person that I would necessarily think would be, somebody I would get with.
So
How about you,
I split mine into a three-way with Tamar and CJ.
CJ?
I split mine
Right,
into a three-way with Tamar and
right.
CJ.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at
I ain't mad at that. I could see that.
that.
I could see, I mean, I could see why, Tamar is pretty.
Right.
CJ, she definitely got the vibe and the body and all of that. So yeah. Cause
She
I
was
know
she
ain't
wasn't
nothing with
like
you and Kim popping off.
yeah, nah, I'm cool on Kim Cole's, but I respect it.
Right.
But the thing with CJ is she didn't seem like the typical like airhead blonde. She
Right.
seemed like she was still like cool, like she still was rational, like she still was
Yeah.
cool. She didn't seem
Yeah,
like
I
the
agree.
she didn't seem like the dumb blonde. I guess.
Right. I agree.
All right, we got to get into the exercises. What was your favorite exercise? What's up?
My favorite exercise was I feel like my favorite exercise was the theater. The surreal
The
what was it?
impersonation?
Surreal, huh?
The impersonations?
Yeah.
When they were doing each other.
Yeah.
That shit was the greatest, some of the greatest shit I've ever seen on TV.
Yes, it was. I feel like I had a couple favorites, but that was like my favorite. And I feel like it was such a good exercise to do. One issue, it just displayed like acting, it just displayed like them writing, them coming together. But what was important to me, what I drew from it is that it allowed people to express their perception of an individual and like how they see that individual. You know what I mean? Because
And
everybody's perception is
I'm
different.
glad that everybody laughed at themselves. For
Yeah.
those who don't know, they did this exercise where everybody was like doing impersonations of other people in the house or whatever. So it was like Frankie was Dennis Rodman, like everybody did somebody else in the house. And this was like
Mhm.
some of the greatest TV I've ever seen. Like I watched this shit like 4 or 5 times.
I know it was good.
All of them was good.
Mhm.
Everybody was good.
Mhm.
All 8 of them. All of them was good.
Yep.
All of it was good.
Uh-huh. I loved it. Who was your, if you had to pick like one group, who would it have been?
Oh man, it got who was with Tamar?
It was Tamar and wasn't it Manny?
I
Wasn't
think
it
it was
Manny?
Tamar and Manny. Whoever was with Tamar, I think they did the best. They was the
Yeah, it
best.
was Kim Coles and Tamar did Kim, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
that
I
was
think they did the best. And who did Tamar though? Who impersonated Tamar when they
Kim did
Kim
Tamar.
did? She was
Yeah,
great. She was like in the girth, in the
that,
girth.
that was a good group. That
Right.
was a good. And then, but I liked who did Dennis. I can't remember
Well,
who did.
Frankie did Dennis.
Oh, Frankie did Dennis. So I think it
Yeah,
was Kim and Frankie. So yeah, that was my favorite group
that's
too.
what I'm saying. They was all good. Like
Yeah, they was all good. They
they
was
was
all
all good. That was
yeah.
probably my favorite part of the whole season. Like I
Season.
watched that
Yeah,
shit like 5 times. That
me
shit.
too. Yes, yes. What was your favorite exercise? Was that one? I mean, outside of that one.
Outside of that one, I'm gonna say when they did the soccer field, John, when they was going
Yeah.
up against the kids,
Uh-huh.
and Frankie was like, "Fuck these kids," and
Right.
Tamar was like, "Fuck these kids." I'm with them. I'm like, "Fuck them kids." We try to win, and we knocking these kids down,
See,
those kids, and it was fucking great. Are you running over the kids?
running them over, running over. And Frankie stated they not the kids, they the teenagers. So we running them down. We mowing them down.
Yeah,
I'm with it.
yeah, I'm not. That was probably my favorite joke because it was like, "Fuck them kids."
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right, so the first challenge was the wrestling challenge. What would be your wrestling character name or your alter ego?
My wrestling character name. Hmm.
See, I got a cheat code because I'm a fan of wrestling, and I already had like Sid Vicious. There was already a wrestler called Sid Vicious, and that was my god.
And that was
So I'm already Sid
so
Vicious.
you already got your name.
Yeah.
I don't know. I off the top, I don't know. I would be. I don't know.
Oh man, we gotta come back to that. We,
We gotta
we
come
gotta,
back to
we
that.
gotta let
Yeah,
you think
to
about it.
think
We gotta
about
come
it.
back to that one. So what was the worst challenge? What about the dinner in the sky? Are you partaking in the dinner in the sky?
So yeah, I definitely think I would have enjoyed that.
The dinner
Like,
in the sky, you enjoying it?
yeah, I would have enjoyed it. I mean, it was blah for to watch. They didn't really do nothing. They just was sitting there in the sky, and they got to tackle some of their fears and stuff. I get that, but like to experience it like physically, I would probably love it. I like shit like that.
Yeah, I'm not good on the heights thing. I'm
No.
like I'll do it like if it's like we like going up top on the top of a building, but don't just have me sitting at a table with my feet dangling in fucking midair. Like I'm cool on that. Like if
Yeah.
we just go to a restaurant that's like 50 stories up, or we at the top of some building or whatever, I'm cool with that. As long as there are surroundings, like I'm cool. I'm
Right.
not, you're just not gonna have my feet dangling at
Right.
that
It's
kind of
just-
height. It's not gonna work for me.
yeah.
My stomach's gonna start turning. They're
And then
eating
and
dinner.
there won't be no dinner had you
That's
be
what I'm
throwing dinner.
saying. That's what I'm saying. They eat dinner at this fucking place. It's
Oh
fucking
my
crazy.
god.
All right. Are you doing the horseback riding?
Yep, I'm doing it, and I've been horse. Well, I've gotten on a horse before. I ain't gone horseback riding before, but I would definitely want to experience that. So yeah, I'm definitely doing that.
Okay. I'm not mad
Yeah.
at I'm not mad at the horseback ride. Yeah, I'm definitely trying that. I'm not
Mm,
going buck on the horse. I'm not going buck on the horse and speeding out, but I would definitely try it.
right.
I would
Okay.
definitely try it. So they did the yoga, the partner yoga that was like to break the tension that was going on between Dennis and August. So do
Hmm.
you think that that's a good thing to try with a partner?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just feel like it brings a level of connection and intimacy that you can't necessarily attain or reach just in your daily interactions or your just day to day, everyday, common interaction with the individual. So I feel like it could bring down some of the barriers that you guys might be facing, you know what I mean, and open up a nice line of communication with some good energy. Yeah.
I'm not mad at the partner yoga. As long as we get to have sex afterwards, I'm good. Like I don't we can't
Right.
just do this the partner yoga and then go home and watch TV. No.
Oh, right? That's the cherry on top.
Right.
And most men probably saying, "Oh, you want to go do this partner yoga?"
Right.
You know what we doing when we get home,
Right.
right?
Right.
Right.
Because it's like once we do that, it's like a building. You're building tension.
Hmm.
So it's like I need to release this. Like I can't just go home and watch TV after this. Like,
Right.
I gotta release this. Like so.
Right. Hmm.
So Stormy was talking about porn star tricks, and they did mention this one thing that happened, and they discussed how porn stars have sex when their periods are on. Did you know that this was a thing?
Uh,
And tell the people how porn stars have sex when their period is on.
First of all, I didn't know it was a thing because I figured it was enough porn stars to go around that should one be on her period or even maybe two on her period that there may be six others that could perform. But I mean, listen, or we say, hey, at the upon the signing of the contract, what week is your period? Although it's human nature and we can't guess when it's going to happen, but you would just think that they would work around that. Anywho, we learned that porn stars have sex when on their menstrual and that they use a makeup sponge to plug the cervix so that, it doesn't expel the blood during sex. So it creates that barrier. So, and he can't feel it because it's soft. So it just probably feels like some more vagina tissue.
That's why
Um, I
I'm
don't like it though. And that just can't, it just doesn't seem like it would be, I don't know, not sanitary, but just weird. Like,
scared.
why? Can't
That's
wait a week.
Yeah, I definitely didn't know that, and that's got, and then it makes me like that made me look at porn a little bit differently. Like I don't want to think about that when I watch a porn. Like it made me look at porn a little bit differently. Like hold on, let me make sure. Like
Yeah. I mean, it definitely was like, ugh. I'm gonna have to get that thought out of my
right,
mind. You know
right,
what I mean?
yeah, that's
Mm-mm.
crazy. So I want to ask you, what was your fondest moment or memory throughout the season? Like, was it Augusto on the bed over the balcony? Was it Dennis Rodman on multiple occasions taking out his own eye doing exercises or falling down the steps on his exit? There was a lot of sparringly crazy moments that just popped in and popped out of nowhere. What was your craziest moment of the season?
My craziest moment that I feel like I will pick would be Dennis's one of many one of his outbursts. Um and the funny ones, yeah, for sure, but the one that stuck out to me the most is when he had that whole breakdown with Tamar in the back at the house or whatever, and he was really triggered by her and this whole committing suicide because he's been there and he's done that and he kind of got angry and all of that. But I think that was his breaking point to some healing for him. You know what I mean? Even though he let it out the wrong way, I feel like he circled back and really got in tune with himself to be a little more calmer, a little more softer. Just
Did that come off the rebound of him saying that he was a bad father?
yeah, yes, because I
So
think that all started. A lot of it started in the dinner in the sky,
right,
and they talked about the children thing, the suicide thing. So yes,
yeah. So
and I
Dennis was saying that he's been a bad father. You know, he doesn't know how to communicate with his kids or be there for his kids. he just basically gives them money or something like that. I guess he was saying.
Mhm.
So then, and to take the light off of him, he just like threw a knife at Tamar's head, like, and how about you wanting to kill yourself?
Right.
Why don't you talk about that?
Right.
He
Right.
threw a knife at Tamar's head.
Yeah, and it just was so left field
Right.
because it's just like Dennis is Dennising. Like you never know what you're gonna get, hot, cold, or
It's sort of like a Tourette's kind of thing with Dennis. It's like you could just be chilling, having a regular conversation, and Dennis will be like, "Well, somebody fuck somebody."
exactly, exactly. And he definitely was good throughout the season for energy shifting. Like he would shift the energy at the blink of an eye. And you just be like, everybody just be looking and you'd be like, what the fuck just happened, Dennis? Like we was
Right,
just chilling.
right.
Like,
Yeah,
what the
it's
fuck?
one of
But
those.
yeah, that would have been one of mine. And it wasn't a funny one, but it was definitely one that stood out to me.
Yeah, definitely emotional outburst. How did you feel about them having that Zoom call with the families, and Dennis not having no family?
And Tamar didn't have any family either.
Wow, who came on the screen for Tamar? Nobody.
Nobody.
Wow.
And that was kind of glazed over. And it was one point at the table you could notice that Tamar wasn't even there. Like
Right.
she was there on some of the scenes, but then it would flick and you wouldn't see her. So nobody came on for Tamar during that time, and that could be for many different reasons. You know, it was taped a year ago, so who knows. But Dennis not having any family and it being his agent spoke volumes.
Right.
It
And
spoke volumes because it let you know he's not close to his family.
also it did speak a lot of volumes for August. For the people who don't know, August's nieces had came on the screen for him because he's their guardian now because his sister passed away. So he takes care of his nieces. So that's another personality thing
Yeah.
for August. Well, I guess it's kind of another thing that y'all ladies might get a little wet over. I'm gonna say.
Right. Like, oh, he
Right,
saved his nieces. How valiant, you know what I
right,
mean? How,
right,
how amazing and responsible. But you know, I was um it like kind of touched me a little bit when he explained how he was trying to be all that he could be to them even in his position, still trying to be young and live his life and raising three girls and all of that. So he had a moment of transparency there, basically saying, yeah, I'm doing something valiant, but it's tough for me, you know what I mean, and I'm still trying to find my way and still trying to do it right to be enough for these girls. And I thought that was a dope moment too of
I
sharing.
gotta watch that again because I didn't even realize that nobody came on the screen for Tamar. That's
I
crazy.
know, and let me tell you, the reason that I really when I rewatched everything today, but I just at that point I couldn't remember. I'm like, did her mom come on?
Right.
Like, did one of the sisters come on? Like, I just couldn't remember, and I kept rewinding, and I'm like, yo, she had like nobody popped up, and then you will see her, like I said, not at the table at certain points of it. And so it just makes you think a little bit, like, what happened there?
Well, her and her sisters were beefing. They beef off and on all the time. It's just something that they do. It's just something that they
Mhm,
do. They
mhm.
beef off and on all the time, but their main beef comes from the whole husband thing. How Tamar used to always talk shit about their husbands, and then when Tamar got a divorce, she didn't like them throwing that shade back at her. So a lot of their beef stems from that dynamic.
Yeah, yeah, and that makes a lot of sense too. And her parents are older, so they might not have wanted to even come on, or her son, or he probably just like, no, no thanks.
Yeah, I didn't know that. All right, so the last thing we have to tackle is what the hell did August do? At the end of the show, the credits are damn near rolling. The show is over. It's been a great season. Everybody came out, had a good time. Dennis fell down the steps. There it's like we're all going off into the sunset. It's
The
like
sun.
everybody's walking off into the sunset, and then August busts out of nowhere with the shell shock moment. And how did you see it? How did you see it play out, Ish? Because when I saw it, I was about to call you like right then and there. Like, is this shit really fucking happening right now? On TV at that. I was like, is this shit fucking happening right now on TV? How this is happening? Like, why is this happening right now? How did you see it?
All right, so when I saw him pop on the screen, I was like, good, because he left that note,
All right.
all like by amigos or
For
sign.
those who don't know, August left the house without saying bye to everybody.
He
He
left
just
without
wrote a
saying.
note saying peace out because I
Right.
guess he's one of those people who may get emotional or
Mhm.
just don't want to do goodbyes.
Right. So when he popped up, I'm like, all right, cool, because he gonna say something of sentimental value to everybody saying goodbye, right? But then he starts articulating all of this stuff,
He
and
starts the deep shit. Look, he starts the deep
he
shit.
starts the deep shit. So I'm intrigued. What is August talking about? But then he's like, he's taking deep breaths. He's talking about shaking. He's talking about shifts and, just all kind of things. And then boom,
New lights and new loves. It's all new.
it's all new. And then it's in a different form at that. And I'm just like, what is happening here? Like I was just in shock. And then I had to like rewind it and let it replay again. And I'm just like, did I just hear this right?
Right.
So I was like at a loss. I was probably going to thinking of calling you too. Like, what's happening? I'm trying to see what social media is saying and
Right.
all kind of stuff. And it just was weird to me. And I don't know if it was a actual coming out. What do you think about that?
How did you hear the words though? How did the words sound to you? Like when he said what he said, how did that, how did that come into your head? Like how did you hear it?
I heard it as, I'm not introducing my friend. I'm not introducing my homie that I grew up with in New Orleans.
Right.
I am introducing something that is new to me, that has come in a different form, that has teaching me how to heal and teaching me how to love something new and not to live in the confines of my mind and of society. And I am coming out to the world and professing my love for this here man that's walking onto the stage to sit next to me.
That was the most like craziest part about it is that not only did he say it, he put the motherfucker on the screen. Like, come here. Let
Like,
me
come here and let me profess my love to you. I don't want you to feel in the shadows anymore. I know I've been closeted,
Right.
and now I want to come out to the world with you by my side. That's what that felt like.
Right. Like the only thing that kind of threw it off was that he gave him like a side hug. So that kind of threw it off a little bit. Like, is this his boyfriend or like is this a best friend vibe? Is it like little brother vibes? But you saying my new love? My new love is like I'm coming out the closet. We fucking.
Yeah, pretty much. And like, if you and I were best friends,
Right.
right? I'm going to be like, I'm going to have so many terms of endearment. Like, I'm going to speak so highly of you, and I might be nervous, but I ain't going to be like, okay,
Right.
I'm about to profess this, this thing. I'm not going to be talking about my hand shaking about my friend, or, somebody that is helping me through a tough time, but I'm giving them daps.
Right.
Like, it's just not going to come across like that.
Right.
Um, if he did it as a publicity stunt or some shit like that, I don't know, but the shit
But
was weird.
that's what I was saying. I was like, after the entanglement, you don't really need publicity stunts at this point. You can always pop the entanglement bag. you can pop the entanglement bag whenever you want to, and people will be all ears. He's never discussed it. He didn't even go into details on this show. So at any given time, he can pop that bag. So if he needed a publicity stunt, he's got one in his back pocket at any time.
I
That's why
know.
I was like, this can't be a publicity stunt.
Right. Like I just and then people like were saying, "Oh, y'all reaching like he could have been introducing his friend." Yeah, I get that. You're absolutely right. It
You
could have
don't
been.
introduce
You're
your friend.
not introducing your friend.
Yeah, you don't introduce your friend like
You're
that.
not introducing your friend like that.
You don't
And
introduce
you're
your
not
friend.
alluding to the fact that you could possibly be gay if you're not as a
Fact,
straight man. Like you're
fact,
just not. You're not creating that illusion. You're
right,
not stepping onto that platform to allow opinions and slander and all of that kind of stuff that comes along with making an announcement such as that. You're not doing that just on GP as a straight man.
facts.
You're not.
I was thrown off, and I'm still thrown off, and I'm still waiting for all of this shit to play out because I need answers. I'm like Cardi B, man. I need answers, man. What the fuck did I just watch? I saw it, and that was my immediate thoughts. What the fuck did I just watch when I saw it? Because when I was watching it, it was probably 1 in the morning. The first night it came out, I was watching the replay at probably 1 in the morning, and I was thinking to myself, what the fuck did I just watch?
What the fuck did I just watch? Like, I don't know. The producers they did that very well
Right,
by with him leaving a note and then him popping up on that screen and then it goes blank for the season. Like it just it's a cliffhanger. They
right,
intentionally did that and it was perfect.
right,
And it was perfect for August to release whatever it is he needed to release
right,
um in his hidings
right,
because that was hidden.
right. So I seen people saying Jada has turned August out. And then I also seen one thing that said Will Smith's gotta be killing himself if he let a bisexual nigga smash his wife.
This is true. This is true. I've seen so many of those same things, and it just leaves you to wonder. Leaves you to wonder for sure. I definitely think Jada had a huge influence, not necessarily on his sexuality, but just in regards to the direction of
Right.
who
Being
he's
free.
growing to
Yeah,
be.
being free.
Yeah, about and all of that. I feel like she definitely played a big role in that because he was younger and more impressionable, and you know,
It's
you know
Jada
what
Pinkett.
happened.
Yo, Jada Pinkett is amazing. I'm gonna tell you why Jada Pinkett is amazing. Because the other day I was watching A Different World, and I was like, look at Jada Pinkett and where she was on A Different World to where she is now is like
Mm-hmm.
I was
Mm-hmm.
like, Jada Pinkett is amazing.
Yeah, yeah, and she is like the epitome of that evolving
Right,
factor that most people want and crave. You know what I mean? Like honestly, she transforms even in physical appearance, but
right,
not just in physical appearance. That she's grown and matured from that quirky little cute girl to this amazing woman, you know what I mean, that has that sexual sex appeal and all of that stuff. But she also progressed so much just in her thinking and you know what I mean, her mind frame, you know what I mean. So she definitely imposed a lot of that upon August.
yeah, shout out to you, Jada Pinkett. You're amazing.
Yeah, Jada
You
got
got
old August out
Jada,
here.
Jada got the world, wrapped around her fingers. Like
Yeah, how about it? How
she
about it?
basically could do and say anything and just like still be Jada Pinkett.
Hmm. Still be Jada Pinkett, still be loved
Right,
and, and not tarnished in any
right,
way, shape, or form. And that's magic right there.
right, right.
That,
That's why I said she's amazing. Still be Jada Pinkett.
especially with the
Right,
cancel culture being so fluid right now.
right. Yeah,
You know.
that's fucking amazing. But that's our Surreal Life season 7 recap. I would be excited to see them have another season with more celebrities. This is probably one of I told you when I first saw it. I was like, this is going to be one of those ones.
sure did. You said, "Yo, listen, this is gonna be good. We gotta dive into this." I
Right.
do wish it was a couple more episodes.
Right.
Just a few more. It was 6 episodes, so
I'm not mad at the amount of episodes. I just think that they should have do. I think that they should have dove into each character a little
a
bit
little
more.
more.
Or
Yeah.
they probably have extra footage that they just didn't release, or it's probably like on their website. I think they
Mhm.
should have showed more, like diving deep into each character. But I'm not
Yeah.
mad at the amount of episodes. I think
Yeah.
that was like cool.
Yeah.
I think they
Well,
should
yeah.
follow each person a little bit more.
Right, right. And I would agree there. If it wasn't going to be more episodes to elaborate, then
Right.
definitely like within the episodes that you did have, like you said, just dive in a little bit more just to see a little more progress. I mean, we saw some progress, but it was so quick, like, you didn't really get much of backstories or whatever. So that would have been
I might after seeing this because I never watched it before. After seeing this, I might have to go back or start watching the earlier seasons just to see what was
yeah.
happening.
Yeah, because I never watched any of the earlier seasons. I probably saw bits and pieces,
Right,
but I never like actually watched them. So yeah, I would be interested to go back and see,
right,
um, what they was popping for back then.
right.
Hmm.
Yeah, I gotta see what's going on here because that shit was crazy.
Yeah, that shit was good. That shit was good.
That shit was crazy. So, Ish, do you
Hmm.
have any last questions or thoughts on the season?
No, I felt like it was definitely a good season. I felt like, even the people that we did know about, we learned something about. You know what I
Right.
mean? Or we got to, dive into them just a tad bit more than outside of what we know. And it kind of helped us, create a better perception of them as an individual outside of, their careers or whatever. So I think it was a pretty dope show. I'm glad they brought it back. And I'll be interested to see, what the next season will bring.
All right. Now, who was your favorite? Gotta pick one.
You know who my favorite is. You already said
Who
my
was your
boy Dennis.
favorite? Dennis was your guy. Dennis was your
Dennis,
guy.
my
Dennis was
God.
your
I love
boy.
it. Weird and as quirky as Dennis is. He said, I created this asshole. I created this asshole. Like
Yeah,
Dennis, as
Dennis was
crazy
Dennis.
as he was
Dennis
my
was
boy.
Dennis.
Yeah,
Dennis was Dennis.
Dennis was Dennis.
Dennis was Dennis.
How about you? Who was your favorite?
It's definitely Tamar is always my favorite. Tamar is always my favorite every time she does anything because she's the epitome of transparency. Like
Mhm.
wherever she is, whatever she's doing, whatever place she's at, during her life, you're gonna see it.
Mhm.
And she's not gonna hide it. She's not gonna run from it.
Right.
You're gonna see it. So Tamar is always gonna be my favorite. Yeah, I'm gonna go with
Mhm.
Tamar. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would say August, but I'm still flabbergasted
And then,
about what happened at the end.
yeah, that's still like, whoa.
Right,
That's one of them wild moments, you know what I
right,
mean?
right. So
But yeah, Taylor would have been my second runner up.
as far as Dennis, had I not known his story, he probably would have
Right.
been my favorite. But I
Right.
know all of Dennis's crazy shit. Like
Crazy
people don't
shit.
understand. Like people when they see Dennis Rodman marrying himself or things of that nature, like I already knew why
Right.
he was doing these things because I read his book. I already knew that he had all these issues from being raised from white people, from his wife cheating on him and things of that nature. So that's like he's not doing it like to be like a gag or to be like gay or anything like that. He's doing it as a symbol of I was hurt and I want to love myself. That was his whole thing about marrying himself. It wasn't like a people made it to be like a show or like a mockery, but that was just something he was doing for himself.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Dennis.
Dennis is Dennis.
Dennis Dennison. I love when they say that. I be like, oh, here you go. And I was so glad when he came back. I was just like, yes. He came back to, make shit right. So yeah, Dennis.
Dennis is Dennis. But if y'all haven't seen it, make sure y'all watch the Surreal Life. What the fuck is that? VH1 on VH1, season 7. If y'all haven't seen it, go back and watch it. This is explicit content for the members only. So tell a friend to tell a friend. If they're not a member, they won't be able to see this. That's just what it is. And we'll
That's
see y'all on Sunday for Uncensored Minds. Any last words, Ish?
Nope. Um, Shout out to all the members. Make sure, like T said, share, share, share. This is gonna get more of this content. That's what we need, right?
Chat. All right, people, we're out of here.
All
It's
right,
real
guys.
life.
Peace.